Welcome to Tennis Takeaways with Lisa and Duey. We are here talking about all things college tennis, junior tennis, and I'm here with my co-host Lisa Stone. My name is Duey Evans. How you doing today, Lisa?
I'm good. I'm good. As our regular viewers may notice, it says Atlanta, Georgia above my picture today. I got on a plane yesterday for the first time since COVID-19 and came back to my home in Atlanta. So we have some things we got to get squared away here. Mundane things like pest control and changing the air conditioning filters and that kind of stuff. But also some work related stuff on my husband's end. So yeah, I'm here in Atlanta and happy to be with you. And it's 11 a.m. for me today instead of 8 a.m. as it is usually. I'm a little bit more awake, but not much more.
I know I probably feel like I probably should have switched the graphic and put you on the other side of me today because that's where you are, right? Usually you're
Yeah,
on one side, but you've now switched 3 hours time and you've now on the other
yeah,
side of me. Um,
exactly.
so we have a guest today. Can you tell
We
us a
do.
little bit about her and maybe she can come in for our conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. Marceil Whitney is joining us from Washington. And Marceil, there she is. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing
Good
good, thank you.
morning.
Great. So I got connected to Marceil through a Parenting Aces community member who made the introduction because she is a volunteer with Marceil's TOPS program and wanted to bring me into some of their fundraising efforts and promotional efforts. And we were on a Zoom call together, and it occurred to me that Marceil and her program would be the perfect fit for our little light shining mission that we're on, Dewey.
Yep.
So, Marceil, I would love for you to tell the viewers a little bit about TOPS, what your mission is, and what your role is in the organization.
I would love to do that. Thank you for the opportunity, Lisa and Julie. TOPS stands for Tennis Outreach Programs, and I started it in 2003, seeing a need for tennis for at-risk and low-income kids. And I've always had a heart for youth, and our mission is to empower youth for a lifetime success through tennis, education, fitness, and character development, regardless of economic circumstance. And this is a mission that we carry very true to what we do. And we do a lot of different programs for a lot of kids. And do you want me to go into that, or how much more do you want me
Sure.
to say? Okay.
Yeah.
We've been blessed to be able to get into a facility, and we got into a warehouse and retrofitted it to a tennis center. We're a nonprofit organization that runs a public tennis center. And we have programs like adaptive tennis for young youth. This this is really dear to my heart. It's just to have these young people come in, and most of them are autistic. And when they first came in, there wasn't much interaction. And through the years, they are becoming more social with their peers that are there. And the mothers are just thrilled with the activity that they're getting through this program and the interaction that they have with their peers there at the center. And it's just such a delight because they're in their own world, but when they come up to hit that tennis ball, they just focus into it. They hit it, they move, they come off, and they're clapping or they're screeching out of joy just for to be able to make that contact with the tennis ball. So it's just fun to
So,
be around them because they just see the world differently.
Marcia, can
And
I ask you real
yes,
quickly, so this is an adaptive program. Was it a program which was created specifically for that population, or was there already a tennis program that they were brought into as an additional core constituency?
great question. We I was connected with a person in the community that worked with adaptive children and youth. And we got talking, and he says, and he knew I did tennis. And I said, well, have you ever done tennis programs with him? And he says, no, we would love to do that. I said, well, we'll do it. And so we made arrangements, and the rest is history. So it was that's how it developed in that respect. And we scholarship all these kids, younger kids, so they don't have to pay. They come and play for an hour each week, and we're just thrilled to be able to do it because, again, like I said before, we just really have seen a difference in their socialization by doing this. Did that answer your question?
Oh, sorry. One of the questions I have for you, Marceil, is regarding the scholarships because we've all seen programs over the years that might have an initial, chunk of money through a grant or a gift or something to kick off the program. But in order to maintain the program over a period of time, that requires sponsors, fundraising, something to fund the program, whether it's to pay rent for the space or for equipment or whatever, the needs are for the program. Can you share with us how you at TOPS continue to raise money and provide funding to keep the program going year after year?
Yes. You mentioned that you met a mother through Parenting Aces that volunteers for us. She is on a team of a group that helps us with our major fundraiser, which we have once a year. And we raise our funds through this auction mostly because it's our biggest one. And a lot of we do Raise the Paddle, and that's where we find a lot of the money for for the scholarships. And we have a couple other fundraisers that we do through the year to help along the way. And also we go for grants that are available that fits the need. We were able to get a grant from King County this last year to help us with that. So we're constantly in the process of looking for sponsors, working on toward our auction each year. And we're very dependent on that and our incredible supporters and donors that we have within our network too. So because of that, there's a lot of effort behind the scenes, and these ladies are just incredible. There's no way these programs would be happening without these people that are behind the scenes helping us do this.
Good. Can you tell us about some other programming that you have? Because it sounds like you have a fairly extensive network and volunteers and a facility that you have to program. What are some of the other programs that you have put together and operate on a regular basis?
Okay. We have a program what we call Wake Up to Tennis, and that's before school tennis. And we've been in 6 different schools within the community. We try to pinpoint the schools that have the most at-risk and low-income kids in the sense of free breakfast or assistant breakfast, because those are, again, what we want to do in the outreach of giving these kids the opportunity to have tennis. So we go to some of the schools we go to their multi-purpose rooms, set up short court nets and do some tennis before school, and then they go in and have their breakfast and start school. We have done research with this, and by doing this before school, it gets more of the kids to school on time. They're excited about doing tennis, so their attendance is better, their interaction with their peers are better, their grades have gone up, and their focus in class has gone up because of being able to do something that they like, and they can call it this is their own. And so that's one of the programs that we do, and we are close to another school that.
Can we stop for that? Because one of the things that I think Lisa and I decided is we don't want to be a little fluff program
Mm-hmm.
that we're just out and glossing over things and making everything look great. And not that this is any sort of attack. It's just one of my pet peeves just came out in what you were talking about. And I think we should talk about kind of why that needs to be. But you were talking about at-risk kids, and immediately in the same sentence you were talking about food insecurity, right? So free and reduced lunch. And those are people who are food insecure, and that's a huge thing. If you're food insecure and you're worried about where your next meal's coming from, you're not worrying about a whole bunch of other things. And I get that. Doesn't that stigmatize those kids by talking about them as being at risk? And is that something that's necessary because you're doing a significant amount of fundraising, and therefore if that's not in the literature, people believe, well, then we're giving money to a bunch of middle class kids that can afford it anyways? Or what's the reasoning behind using that language?
That's a great question. Good insight. I appreciate that. I think, to your point, that we're in a very influential area where our center is. And I had a couple meetings with some influential people years ago as I was starting this. And I had to share with them that we had pockets of low income and at-risk kids. And when I say at-risk kids, youth, I'm including everyone, because any child that's left at home alone between the hours of 4 and 7, we talked about that a little bit beforehand, they have time on their hands, and they're not supervised, so we don't know what they're going to be doing during that time. Going back to where I was, sorry about that, that we were sitting in a club.
You fit right. If you ramble, you fit right in, because Lisa and I have tendencies to go off on little tangents. So it's all good. Join our world.
Okay, I was sitting in a club with a couple people and talking about the program and what I want to do, and they said, "What do you mean we have low income kids in this area? We have Microsoft, we have Nintendo, we have Amazon." And I said, and we have low income also. And so I had to educate these business people that there are communities within our community that don't have the means to be able to play tennis, to play soccer, to do sports. And so that, to answer your question, hopefully I'm getting to it, is that we do use that term to educate people that we do have those pockets of community that's in our community. I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, or don't mean to not say the right thing in that respect, but
no, I'm not part of the PC police. I'm not. There is a right way or a wrong way. I just think that as long as we're not using it in a pejorative way and trying to, label those kids.
Right.
But Dewey, to your point, well, excuse me 1 second, Marceil, but to Dewey's point, sometimes in order to secure funding, there are tag words that need to be in your grant proposal or in your marketing materials to attract funding. And I think that's the reality of society today. And I think that's what you were sort of asking about, Dewey, is, do you have to use those terms in order to get the money in? But is there maybe a different language that we need to start cultivating so that we're not stigmatizing kids who are on scholarship or stigmatizing kids who are food insecure, and still able to generate the funds necessary to provide these fabulous programs for anyone who wants to participate? Because one of the things that drew us to you, Marceil, is the fact that your program's open to anybody. It's not just for at-risk kids or low-income kids or food insecure kids. It's for any child that wants to come play tennis. And especially when you look at your adaptive program, we're seeing kids, that look all kinds of different ways. They don't all look one way. And so that was what was attractive for us. But for people who are looking to create programs like this, it's important that we all understand what it takes to get the funding to get a program off the ground and then to maintain it. And it seems to me that the current situation is you have to use this kind of language in order to generate the funding, which, personally, I don't like that. It stinks. But if we all understand what the rules of the game are, we can all have a better chance of winning. And I think, at least for me, that's the goal is, anybody that wants to create a program and needs funding, let's teach them how to get the funding, and then they can use it to do the things that they want to do or need to do in their communities.
Okay, so
You said
I'm
it.
gonna here's my challenge, Marceil. I'm gonna throw this one at you and see how you are on your feet. So
I'm sitting, so I'm not on my feet.
I am a well-heeled philanthropic individual who is obviously someone of color, and I have children of my own or have relatives, sister, whatever, who have children who fit within the demographic, sociographic groups that you're trying to service. Yet I'm offended by your use of this term and therefore my relatives potentially falling within that, and others are going to look at them, whether they be people like me who are helping fund or whatever. How would you present your program to me knowing that I have these biases against certain terminologies?
Well,
I'm not
first of
saying
all,
you do right now. I'm just saying I'm throwing out a hypo, and I'm not saying I'm a well-heeled
Yeah.
philanthropic person. I'm saying if I were.
Oh, rats! I was going to jump on that one.
She was about to hit you up for a check, Duey.
Oh my goodness! Like I said, I was sitting. I'm not on my feet, so I don't know if I'm going to answer that adequately. I try to know my audience. Number one, whom I'm talking to, and by doing that, hopefully, I can know what could be their buttons. A lot of times when I come before someone, it's usually through a contact. So there is a referral. And so they give me a little more information of what they're really into and what they believe in and what they support. It's not so I would change some of the taglines and try to go that direction because I don't want to be offensive. I don't want to, quote, put people in boxes. But as Lisa has mentioned before, is that sometimes those taglines are what gets me the audience in the sense of what we do. I believe we do a very good job in integrating everyone. And that's what I meant by the tennis equipment. I don't say, well, that child, is on free lunch. So just, be aware. My staff doesn't know about 90% of where these kids are coming from. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question or if I'm trying to avoid
No,
it.
that's a key. That's a key. That right. So the behind the scenes, what you're doing, raising funds is one thing, but that doesn't filter down to how the children are actually perceived because the people interacting with them aren't aware of who is, coming from which places. I think one of the things we wanted to do is to help other people who are in similar situations and maybe they have great ideas but they haven't been able to create the organization which you have, which goes out and scours the community and writes the grants. And you're in the fundraising business probably as much as the kid impacting business, and so you recognize sometimes the grants come to you as, oh, there's one that's available but the deadline is Tuesday, right? And so there need to have some level of boilerplate information available that somebody can put something together quickly. But if you don't operate in that world at all, then that's a tough thing to come by. What was the process that you went by going from start up to where you are now in terms of that, putting those fundraising apparatuses in place?
Oh, we're still working at it, I tell you. Um,
COVID-19's kind of thrown a wrench into it too this year,
oh,
because your
huge,
auction's
huge.
your big fundraiser, and now you guys are having to take that online.
Yeah. Well, for someone that's starting it, I got into this without knowing what it was going to take. I just had a passion, had a desire to give back, and tennis happened to be my vehicle because I was all around athlete. Saw Billie Jean King on TV when I was in the 7th grade and says that's what I want to do. I want to play tennis, and from there it has morphed into where I am today. Um, I lost my train of thought, and it was a good one. So maybe I can come back and get. So anyway, really, I sat down with people that I thought, number one, that liked me, um, and shared my dream. And by sharing my dream and my passion, because when I start talking about the kids, I get a little overboard in my passion, and they said they see that. And so, well, I want to be a part of this. And so the key thing is finding like-minded people that believe, number one, they have to believe in the leader. And sometimes I don't feel like that leader, but I've been very blessed and honored to have been surrounded by incredible people with incredible talent and that believed in what I was doing. And it's not about me, it's really about what we could do to service the kids. And so surround yourself with the right people, sit down and think, okay, what kind of talent do I need to help me get to where I want to be? And so that was my first start. Got into it, I had nothing, no background in writing grants. Oh, talk about fear in that respect. And so through the years, I've learned. I've written, several grants and maybe got 3 of them out of them. But each time it was very timely when we got them. Would love to find a grant writer to help us through that process to find more funds in that respect. But it's just, if you don't have the passion, it's going to be awfully hard to do what you want to do, from my point of view, because there's a lot of hurdles, and sometimes you get pretty tired and wondering if you can jump that next hurdle to continue to accomplish. And one of the hurdles is the COVID virus. This has been one of our hugest hurdles, and keeping the passion going, keeping people still interested. Yes, we're still here. Yes, we still want to serve you. There's a lot of decisions being made about it. People are not ready to do that. Some are, in the sense of coming out. So in that, over the years, I have grown as a person, and with knowledge, and I feel more compassion as I go along. And my passion's still there. It may waver because I'm tired of here and there, but I believe this is my mission in life, is to help others. And I feel like my biggest talent is tennis and passion. So that's the direction I've gone. And I would do some things different on the way, but I would still do this. The 12-hour days. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Marcia. Well, I was going to say, one of the
say,
things you just said jumped out at me, and that is when you said, you recognized your passion for this, and then you shared it with everybody. And that to me, that's how I operate as well. And my husband and kids will attest to it.
Yeah.
But I think when you have a passion for something and you need others to come help you make your passion come to life, that the best way to do that is just throw it out there into the universe. Tell as many people as you can in hopes that it's going to stick to the people that are able and willing to come on board with you and help see your passion into something concrete, something actionable, something sustainable. And you never know where that help's going to come from. I
Right.
mean, it always kind of boggles me when somebody steps up that, I have a preconceived notion of who they are and where they came from and what their financial status is and all that. And then lo and behold, they're able to write a big check or connect me with some big mover and shaker who can really rock my world and take my passion to the next level. So you just never know. And I think for people who are looking to start programs like what you're doing, one of the first things they need to do is share their idea and their passion with anybody and everybody they come in contact with.
Yeah. And
You never know who
and it's
somebody
hard.
knows.
Right.
That's right. And I, as my crew that are listening, my auction crew, I don't like talking about myself because it isn't, in my opinion, about me. So it's hard to go out and sell that. So what I sell, quote and share is it's the kids. I share stories about the kids, the difference that we have made in their lives, and that's what it's about. And I know there's got to be a face for the organization. I know that, so I'm trying to learn to do better with that. But it's so anyway, raising funds personally is not one of my gifts, I don't think. But I have, like Lisa, like I said, it's the passion that comes through that helps me to do that. And so that's why you need that, because if your donor or whomever you talk to, if they don't see that, they're going to say, really, you really want to do this type of thing. So I'm rambling again. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, it's good. We have some information on where somebody could go to find out more information about your program, and if you have some resources and things that might be able to help Marceil and the young people that she is looking to impact, certainly reach out to her, and I'm sure that she would be happy to have a conversation with you and give you more information on it. And I guess last of all, Marceil, what can Lisa and I do if you can think of anything? Where are the areas where you need the greatest help, and we might be able to help you or connect you to make things work better for the people that you're looking to serve?
That's very gracious. I really appreciate it, and humbled by your comment. Volunteers, we have a board that we would like to have volunteers to come and join us on the board to help direct us. Fundraising, our auction, connecting us with people that have connections where we can get autographs from different athletes, because people like that. Just different things for the auction, and just really financial is always, a donation is always key to us, and we're very, very honored and blessed when people do share that with us. So with the COVID, like every other business, we're all in this situation where we're behind on our bills. And so that would be something too, if to bring in some income for that to help us catch up on our lease and different things. But we will move on. We will do this because there's a lot of people out there that needs our help, and it'll happen. I don't know how, but it'll happen.
For sure.
You're
Yeah.
certainly doing good work, and I would echo some of what you said. And if you have a program, not your program specific, but anyone who has a program and they're relying on fundraising and funds coming from something other than participant fees, I think it's really important that when you you have that elevator pitch available to you, so that when you run into someone, you can very quickly size up what can I ask them for at that point in time, and to know that you don't ask Dewey Evans for $2 million and you don't ask Oprah Winfrey for 20, right? So you've got to figure out what matches that level of the person who's sitting in front of you at that point in time. Lisa, your final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you to Marceil. I also want to just put out there that she didn't say this directly, so I will. If anyone watching has a connection to a professional tennis player or other professional athlete who would be willing to donate an autograph or a piece of equipment, possibly autographed, or they're doing things like auctioning off birthday greetings from professional athletes, where the athlete just does like a video that they email to the person on their birthday or whatever. It's simple, simple, simple. I've been trying to connect them with some people, but understanding as well that, especially in the tennis world, the tennis players are struggling right now too, because they don't have tournaments to go play and earn money. So it's a tough time for them as well. But any connections you have, please share with Marceil, and let's help them raise the money they need to keep Tops going for another year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, however long. We want to keep programs like this running, and they're great for their community, but they're also really great for tennis. So let's all do our parts to support them.
Great program. I get glad I get to find out much more than I did by just perusing the website. So it was great talking to you and feeling the passion come through the screen. And you're right, when you start talking about the kids, it's obvious that that's where your heart is. That is your deal, and it's tough for it not to be contagious. So hopefully this helped a little bit, and anything that I can do personally to help you get the word out, that I'm more than about it. So thank you,
Dewey. And I appreciate your questions. They're very thought-provoking, and I will take those and think about even deeper. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. I was not meaning to attack at all. They're just questions which burn within me, and I hope that I can come up with answers by asking really smart people like you how you would respond to it. So thank you.
Well, I didn't feel attacked at all. I just really appreciate the insights, and so thank you. And thank you, Lisa, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah, Marceil, I'm so glad we were able to make this work. Sorry it's a little early in the morning on your side of the country, but you look beautiful. Yes. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much again.
Well, there we go. Another week in the books, Lisa. We've talked to a great program. I know that we're looking for others. That we can talk to and learn more, grow ourselves, and to help grow those programs so that everybody's doing a better job of reaching really great people. Enjoy Hotlanta. Things are interesting there, to say the least, at the moment. Enjoy your week, and when are you getting back on a plane? Never?
Not till July 3rd. July 3rd, I fly back to SoCal. So next week's show will be from Atlanta again, and then after that, I'll be back on the West Coast.
So good. Again, here's a real quick graphic that shows where you can reach Marceil and her program for more information, or to reach out to lend a helping hand. And we will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.